A player that's available right now is Zach LaVine. And we're going to get into some mock trades for Zach LaVine. We're going to go roundtable here. We're going to start with you, Jack. Zach LaVine trade, what do you have mocked up for us?
All right, I want to be very upfront and say I did not do salaries on this. Yeah, I'm just like kind of
Just
going
going for the vibe trade. Vibe
based
trade.
off the vibes. Like, okay,
Love
and
that.
right off the bat, I think vibes. I think Miami probably upset that they didn't pull Dame, even though they've had a fucking second best team in the East caliber start, according to Joel. I think Hakas, Jovic, an unprotected first round pick, maybe like an additional protected first round pick. It feels like they want to add that caliber of talent because if they get into like a real slugfest with a team like Boston, I think they can go toe to toe with Milwaukee or Philadelphia right now as is, but Boston is so talented, and you just want to have as much high end talent as possible when you go up against a team like that. And Jaquez has been good. I don't think they would let that stop them from adding a guy like LaVine. So yeah, I'm gonna go Miami makes a run at him.
What do you got, Drew?
All right, so that's fine. I didn't throw Jaime in mine. I have Kyle Lowry, Caleb Martin, Nikola Jovic just to make the salaries work.
Martin hasn't even played.
No, Martin played. Martin's played.
Played a little bit.
Yeah, he has. But to make contracts work, that's what I would have. I understand where you're coming from in terms of getting Jaime and making him movable. With the way that he fits with the Miami Heat, I do wonder if they would consider not including him in a package. You know how they've treated Tyler Herro in trade deals. They would not make him available even for James Harden at the time. So I find it hard, especially when they find a nice diamond in the rough, that they don't want to move off of him too quickly. But I like your deal. Let's just throw Kyle Lowry in it just to make the contracts work. So I'll meet you in the middle. You're going off vibes. I love it. So we'll throw Kyle Lowry in that deal. I feel like that's the perfect deal. You said Kyle Lowry. You said Jaime Jaquez. How many pick swaps or how many picks? Excuse me.
I said unprotected first and like maybe a top 5, top 10 protected first, maybe a couple swaps. I think the swaps, that's when you start talking about a bidding war between them and some of the other teams. I'm sure you guys are going to bring up maybe like a Philadelphia, Golden State, like we said. Like that on the perimeters of the trade package are where you start getting into like the nitty gritty stuff. I'll say 2 pick swaps just to, yeah.
I'm fine with that. The next trade I have is going to be between the Bulls and the San Antonio Spurs. It's going to be Keldon Johnson, Doug McDermott for Zach LaVine. Keldon Johnson, I feel like of the trio right now of the San Antonio Spurs,
most underwhelming.
He is the most underwhelming. He seems to be the odd man now, where he still gets his, but not as much as you see a Devin Vassell and, of course, a Victor Wembanyama. Jeremy Shohan has done a great job in filling in his role in that spot as well. Trey Jones, obviously. But you go and you add a Zach LaVine to this mix. Now you add a little bit more offensive firepower. I think if you're a Spurs fan, you've been holding on to Keldon Johnson, and he's been with you guys through the down period of your fanhood. But you go and you get a Zach LaVine, and I don't think that that's a bad deal by any means. I think I have one more. The last one's going to be to the Philadelphia 76ers. It's going to be Zach LaVine going to the 76ers to make contracts work. Tobias Harris, who's making about the same amount of money as a Zach LaVine, and KJ Martin.
Okay. Am I crazy for saying that I don't think there's a huge gap between Tyler Herro and Zach LaVine as players?
Yes.
I don't think there's that much of a gap. Tyler Herro's averaging 23 this year, 23, 4 and 4 on almost 8 attempts from 3.
You're talking about right now or in general?
Just right now. He's shooting 41% from 3.
Zach has been struggling, so that's a good thing to push.
Zach LaVine, from a playmaking standpoint, he's a below average playmaker. He's an average defender. Tyler Herro, I think, is a better playmaker than Zach LaVine. He is a bad defender, but I think his shot creators, Tyler Herro does an amazing job creating his own shot. I don't think
as a scorer, it's got to be LaVine.
For example, like if we're talking about a Heat trade package, I know you guys didn't involve Tyler Herro in your trade packages, but if the Heat were trading Tyler Herro for Zach LaVine, I would be like, do you really get better? Like significantly better? I don't know if they do. That's why any Heat package, they would have to be giving up those other role players and then bringing in Zach.
I'll also say this, something to credit LaVine. That first year that DeMar DeRozan came onto the Bulls, LaVine was a huge team player. Knew that come fourth quarter, it was DeMar's time. I know that I'm amazing in this moment too, but DeMar is DeMar, and he's been historic for that early part of that season. I'm going to defer. I'm going to let him get his. You go and you put that onto a team where Jimmy Butler is also very selfless in terms of just trying to play team-winning basketball. Of course, Bam Adebayo and his ability to facilitate as well. I think that of all the teams, LaVine would fit the best on this one because of how much selfless basketball that the Miami Heat do play. And again, like I said, he also is a selfless player where he's already been on a team with someone that he can respect and appreciate their game and doesn't feel as if I need to have my big boy pants on at all times and I need the basketball in these moments, because he knows what can lead to winning basketball, at least at the time when they had the team to compete.
He shouldn't feel that way because he's earned nothing to feel that way. Like Zach LaVine's done nothing in the league to feel like he's the man.
Oh God,
He's not gonna be the man.
Am I bugging? I'm not bugging.
He had a little rude.
He had a
4 years of like 25, 5, and 5 on 50, 40, 90 splits, pretty much. I'm not gonna.
Are you upset because you say you want to go to the Knicks?
You did just try to
not
put
ass.
you just tried to put Tyler Herro on the same level as a scorer. That was fake crazy. That was
Tyler
fake.
Herro, I think, is an underrated player. He's a good scorer.
No, but that was fake crazy. Like Zach is like a 20.
Zach LaVine for the last 2 years. Well, he was. He's not 27 no
Here's
more.
the thing.
No,
Hero
the Kings
also
season
hasn't
started.
been
No,
playing.
last year it wasn't
He was
27
like
again.
25. He got hurt.
I think you put Tyler Herro in a similar situation. He's averaging that.
Hero hasn't been playing bad for the Heat.
27?
But again,
That's 27. Which Zach LaVine
not gonna get
3
the point
years ago,
That's
that's a different player than
that
what
was
he is
2 years
now.
ago. That was before last year.
I
27
think Chicago's really bad at maximizing what LaVine does well, and I think Miami, they don't have offensive firepower like around Tyler Herro in the same way you think of like DeRozan and Vucevic, but I think Miami does a lot to make Herro's life as a scorer easier in terms of like setting really good screens and just like, running nice actions for him and stuff like that. LaVine's job isn't like super easy in Chicago. He's really like they're just saying cook a lot of the time offensively between him and DeRozan and just seeing what happens. It's not, I don't know. I get what you're saying. LaVine hasn't been like a 27 a night guy in a couple of years, but I don't think
on
What's
really
that?
good efficiency.
He's been a 25 a game guy last 2 years. 25, and that's with DeMar basically the main guy.
He's been.
and I think there's a gap between him and Hero as scorers. I do want to go on the record with that. Like there's a gap between those two players as scorers.
Yeah, scorers, I think Zach LaVine's a better scorer, but I think as offensive players, I think Zach is an underwhelming playmaker. He's a below average playmaker.
But I don't think he would need to be a
And he's a high
overwhelming
turnover guy.
playmaker in
on the
Miami.
Heat. Doesn't need to be.
he doesn't need to be. But I'm just talking about Tyler Herro and Zach LaVine, just in a vacuum as players. I don't think it's like a gap. Like,
But isn't it also something to say for the Heat playing winning basketball with or without Tyler Herro? Isn't there something to be said for that?
I think it's just the Heat play great basketball.
I think as long as
regardless
they
of
have
who's
Jimmy
out there.
Butler and Bam, they'll be
You know,
fine.
it's next man up for them, and they always have somebody. to
Last
step
year,
up.
what were they really looking for in that playoffs? Another scorer. Someone that wasn't Jimmy and Bam to get theirs, because Bam, the way that he can get to his buckets is more difficult than, of course, another guy. If you can get a Zach LaVine who can score in as many facets as he can, it makes playing basketball a lot easier. Tyler Herro, again, like I said, they win without him. They win sometimes with him as well. So if it can't be that he's this significant piece of the Miami Heat. It can't be.
He's definitely very important to them, and I think
They tried to trade him last offseason.
Yeah,
They were trying to trade him the entire.
they tried to trade him
offseason.
for who though?
Guys like
They're trying
Malcolm
to Dame.
Brogdon at one point.
Well, this
I don't think
offseason
that's
it was
Yeah,
Dame.
they was trying to trade him for
Malcolm
Malcolm Brogdon.
But he was in trade rumors for basically any star.
Yeah, any guy went from Dame to Drew
Like
to just
last
just give us
season's
Brogdon. At
last
this point.
postseason's run made Tyler Herro super expendable.
Drew makes sense because Drew is an elite
No,
defender.
I'm with the first two guys.
Yes.
for sure.
When it comes to Zach LaVine, he's not going to
Malcolm
give you that
Brogdon's insane.
defense. And
Well,
part of
teams
it
didn't
is,
want Herro.
and part of it is because maybe he hasn't been bought in enough. But I just don't think he's like a great defender.
I still don't think that
Wait,
he
who?
needs
Zach.
LaVine. He doesn't need to be this great defender because, again, like you mentioned
Now,
already,
Zach's okay when he's bought in.
but Tyler Herro is not a good defender. And last season, we saw that the Bulls were able to put together a stretch where, as a team, they were At one point, the number one
Zach was a part of
number
the
one in
lineups.
defensive rating.
Caruso.
No, but Zach was a
it's-
part of the
It's a whole
lineups.
team.
Zach
It's a
was a part
whole
of the
team.
It's
is
a
lineups.
what
whole
I
team,
mean.
but the biggest
But
reason
my
was
point
Caruso.
being now with the Miami Heat is that that's a culture that they're going to play defense. They're going to buy in on defense. They also have one of the best defensive anchors in the game in a Bam Adebayo. Now, Zach LaVine's job becomes, hey, when you're on the defensive side, just put effort forward. But when you're on the offensive side, get to yours. And you have two guys that can facilitate and get him in spots to succeed.
I think when it comes to the Heat, there's just a next man up mentality. Tyler Herro was hurt for the last playoff run, but Caleb Martin stepped up. Nobody thought Caleb Martin was going to
Fucking
step up in the
Caleb
way that
Martin.
he stepped up.
Until the
That's
finals came
just
around.
next man up. And to this point, to this season right now, Caleb Martin, he's only played 2 games. He's been hurt for the majority of the season, so they haven't even played with him. I just think like if the Heat are trading for Zach and Tyler Herro is involved in the deal, I don't know that you get significantly.
I'm not
better.
saying you include
It's-
Tyler.
They get better.
Yes, they get better, but I think it's marginal. And I think they do have a belief in Tyler Herro there. I believe that.
Maybe.
Do you guys think the Heat's the most likely scenario? I have one here.
I got
that-
2. I got some
Okay,
hot
Riv,
flyer.
Riv, you go first.
I'll throw a hot flyer one. I had Sacramento as just a random for the vibes one.
That's a tough one to make.
It wasn't. I did it pretty quick.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I had
damn, okay.
but I added Caruso because I feel like you got to add Caruso.
Okay, that's why it was easy for you then.
Yeah, because DeMar is going to get added. Somebody else is going to get added with him. So Zach LaVine and Alex Caruso gets shipped off to Sacramento, which is cool. They bring in a dynamic scorer next to Fox. You got Monk off the bench, who showed he can be a really good playmaker off the bench, and another scoring punch. It's just Zach and Fox just sounds like a fire ass duo.
It is.
So them two, and then the Bulls get Harrison Barnes, Kevin Herter, your boy Sasha, Chris Duarte, 2025 pick, 2028 first round pick.
All right. So I tried to make the money work. This is why my deal was difficult. The only thing that would get me to
Did you
get
add
this
Trey
trade-
Lyles?
I didn't.
Okay.
The only thing that was able to get me this deal done, Kevin Herter, Malik Monk.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I
I know.
wouldn't put
Giving up
Malik in
Monk
the deal.
hurts.
To make financials
I
work.
just did it.
We did.
And
That's with Caruso.
Yeah.
Got to add somebody, buddy.
Yeah.
Add him.
Yeah, but you didn't even give up Malik Monk in that Caruso trade. Did
No,
you?
I gave up
Yeah,
Barnes, Herter, Sasha, Duarte.
And that's another thing. Barnes can't be traded right now.
no, I went successful. Yeah,
Are
bro.
you on,
On what?
Are you on
ESPN trade
Spotrac?
machine?
I'm on the fan spell.
But
I'm
that's what
on
I'm saying.
Trade Machine.
I think because he just signed, he re-signed, if I'm not mistaken.
It does tell you.
Well, honestly, the Bulls
would tell
are
you-
the Bulls
It-
probably
it,
should-
it, it
No,
would tell me if it didn't work.
Chicago should probably wait to get their most options because there's gonna be a lot of teams limited with the trade restrictions.
Sacramento, the players sound nice, but I think the flaw in that trade is that Harrison Barnes just signed an extension.
That's yes.
The flaw is not that they can't trade him now. I think the flaw is that I don't think the Bulls want to take on a contract.
I
like that.
agree.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And same thing
It's
with
not
Kevin
crazy
Herter.
though.
No, it's not
17,
crazy.
3 years.
It's not crazy,
Yeah,
but I
Kevin
think
Herter's contract game.
they want to start off fresh with expiring deals.
So Riv, that's what I was saying. The restriction ends in December.
No, I'm with you. I'm
End of
just they
December.
would have told me. That's why it's odd. They would have told me that because they've been telling me that when I tried Trey Lyles, they said he can't be traded to December 15th.
Mhm.
I
So that's
have
what it
my
was
trade here all on 1 year contracts. This is another vibes one because I don't think this team's gonna make a move. They're playing really well, but the Indiana Pacers, they can move Buddy Hield, TJ McConnell, Obi Toppin, add in a couple first round picks, get Zach LaVine. If they just want to double down on offense,
And Buddy,
say, we're number 1 offense right now through 10 games, get another prolific scorer in there to pair with Tyrese Halliburton. That would be a scary
That's
combo.
a solid deal.
You got to add in a third team and send TJ to the Suns.
It's-
That's what you got to do with
Oh
that
my
deal.
god.
let me finish this hectic trade that I have for the Kings just to get your guys' full thoughts on it. So yeah, Levine's going to the Kings, but the way that I was able to make it work.
Valid, yeah. Success.
Saying successful for Riff.
You know what? Hey, great trade. Go ahead, Joel.
I haven't done one.
What are your players that you add?
Well,
added in?
again, like I said, it was Kevin Herter, Malik Monk, Davion Mitchell, Duarte, and Colby
I
Jones.
feel like there's too much.
That's a lot.
I'm not giving up Kobe Jones. Kobe
I
Jones.
thought you were gonna say like multiple players. but
Again,
you stopped at Kobe.
Kobe Jones.
You're giving up a lot. Herder, Malik.
I was gonna
Monk.
say yeah, like Malik,
Like,
Kobe,
like,
Those are
Davion.
Malik hurts.
You
Hurts a lot.
stopped at Kobe was. I got 2 more. Here we go.
What do you got? Is
Another
this
one.
your favorite segment so far today? Because we had just talked Clippers. Had
No,
just
it's been a
talked the
fun.
Warriors.
It's been a fun.
This
PG's
is-
been hooping, so I'm
Okay.
good over there. You know what I'm saying? Another one's Orlando. I think that's another sneaky team that needs a little injection of offense.
Yeah.
So this one is just straight Zach LaVine, and they send Jonathan Isaac, Gary Harris, Jalen Suggs, 2025 round 1 pick from Denver, and 2027 round 1 Orlando pick.
I think Jalen Suggs has been so great for them that they wouldn't move
Yeah.
off of him If
Yeah.
I have a Magic trade,
The backcourt just gets a little. It's still a little crowded, but
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, if
My-
you just drafted Black and Jet
That's
Howard,
what I'm saying. Yeah, the backcourt's crowded.
for me, if I'm the Magic, the trade is Gary Harris.
Mhm.
I'm trading Markelle Fultz, and I'm keeping Suggs and Anthony
Ooh.
Black.
Okay.
I think I love Markelle. He's been playing great basketball for them, but if you want to make a deal work,
Mhm.
contracts got to work. So I trade Markelle instead of Suggs, and maybe this player needs to be in, maybe not. It depends on how much the Bulls value Zach LaVine, but I'm expecting they're going to value him high. So I think Orlando sends over Jet Howard too.
Okay. No picks? Or you didn't really?
A pick or two, I think
Yeah.
the picks are redundant.
Jet Howard's basically like first round pick.
And this is my last one. This is Golden State.
Clay?
So, yeah, no, he's in it. He's actually the number one guy. So Warriors get Zach and Caruso, another one. These my two that I feel like gonna be paired up. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't. make
He's
those
just sick because the Lakers I can't get them.
Yours don't work. Everybody's
No,
December
you
15th.
cannot
It's
cannot
hard.
make a mock trade
Unless I put
with
AD
the
in it.
Lakers. No.
Yeah, so it's not. So Zach Caruso head over to Golden State. Golden State sends Klay Thompson, Gary Payton II, Jonathan Kuminga, 2025 round 1, 2027 round 1, and 2 second-round picks.
Hey, that's the move that if you're a Warriors fan, you say you want to
I just want
make the most
Caruso.
out of this. Again, Caruso and Zach LaVine would be tough. You're right back in that conversation now.